wasn't planning on speaking, but I feel like I have to after one of those contributions from Ms. Burnett. I think the Greens have bailed the cat in regards to this. Like many Tasmanians, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised when I saw the news that the zipline project was going to go to council with a recommendation for approval. It was quite exciting. We'll have a really good a tourism venture, something that's going to be very usable and low impact on the mountain, and the comments by the Greens, both in here and outside of this place, really do bell the cat. I remember when the cable car project went before the council and was rejected, and the talking points at the time by those that rejected it were, I don't know, it's not ideological. We're not against it. It's because it didn't comply with the planning scheme. It didn't comply with, I think it was 21, 23 criteria of the planning scheme. We just respect. Unlike everybody else, we're respecting the planning rules. Well, we had something last night that came to the council that emphatically, according to the same planning office, emphatically complied with the planning rules. And given the sensitivity of the matter, I would expect that they took some pretty serious care in making sure that they got this one right. But they emphatically supported it. And on the topic of the definitions, once again, that was all considered in the planning report. And the expert planning officers, that I know the amount of times I was lectured by the member for my now fellow member for Clark when I was on the council, and she chaired the Hobart Council Planning Committee, and I'm glad she brought that up as well, about respecting the advice of our good planning staff, and of course we do, but to now then just completely ignore it and to assume that they've not taken these things into consideration, that was all in the report. So look, Ben, but it does just speak to the Greens' attitude when it comes to planning rules. They like to lecture and claim that they're the only ones that respect the rules of the day. They like to talk about how important it is that we respect planning rules, but the reality is the Greens only respect the planning rules when the planning rules are useful as a tool to oppose development. That the only consistency here is that when there's a development, there'll be a Greens using an argument to oppose it. When the cable car came up and it was recommended by planning officers for refusal, it was refused. When the zipline came up as recommended for approval, they refused. When we have applications like the Welcome Stranger recommended for refusal in fairness, but was refused. And then we had, I think, 202 Macquarie Street emphatically recommended for approval, refused. I'm seeing a very common theme here. And the deputy, I almost called you the deputy Lord Mayor. Sorry. The member for Clark.
Remind people that we're in a much more important place.
Indeed. The member for Clark spoke about her time as chair of the planning committee, and during that time, I won't read the whole list of stats that I read out yesterday, but voted for the refusal of 536 dwellings. 256 of those were recommended for approval. So the Greens can talk about their respect for the planning rules or their respect for the rules in general, but they only respect it insofar as it's useful to them. The amount of times we've heard about not approving development because of heritage reasons, like the Welcome Stranger, wasn't even on a heritage site, recommended for refusal because of heritage concerns, voted against the knocking down of the derelict former Rebels clubhouse to put housing there as well, but when the times call for it, when it's convenient to the cause, we don't mind climbing up or endorsing people climbing up the front of our very old heritage-listed Parliament House, doing who knows what sort of damage to the slate roofs and then throwing rigging off the sides of it. If that was done in any other context, we would have protests and lectures galore. So I think the Greens need to take a good hard look at themselves. I think people need to listen to what they say in this place, because they really did build the cat as far as where they stand. The only consistency here is if there's something being proposed for this state, the Greens will be against it.
Members' time. Thank you. I call the Deputy Leader.